guys, welcome back to Music Talk. I'm John. Today we'll continue talking about the albums that I received in my brother-in-law's box of records that he gave me. And we're going to start off today with, I'd like to feature an album. Today's album I am featuring is Sheryl Crow, Tuesday Night Music Club. This was her debut album. She did have one album before this that was supposedly never released. I was able to find a copy of it on CD. Very 80s sounding, nothing like what this one ended up being. And I know she didn't like how it turned out. I believe she put the stop to it. So it was nothing like this. Tuesday Night Music Club. I had a little bit of an interest with her. I read about her first in Rolling Stone. Then one of her songs came out. I think All I Want to Do was the first song that came out. And I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Rolling Stone gave it a really good review, so I went ahead and went for it. When I bought the album, first song on there was Run Baby Run, and that was it. When the first line of that song comes right in with her vocals, and she had me. And then the rest of the album, I love it all the way through. It has one silly one on there, but it's still a good song. But just a solid album, so I recommend Sheryl Crow's Tuesday Night Music Club. It came out at 1993, and it actually had 6 singles off of it. It was Run Baby Run, What I Can Do For You, All I Want to Do, Leaving Las Vegas, Strong Enough, which was a pretty good hit. You hear that quite a bit. And Can't Cry Anymore. Those were the songs off there. As you can tell, I'm in the car today again. I'm multitasking and talking to you because I love to talk about music, so I try to bring a couple albums along with me and talk about music as I'm running around to different places. It's kind of fun. So it's kind of like you're in the car with me. So today we're heading down Curlew Road in Clearwater, Florida. So if you want to know where you are today, that's where you are. So any of the scenery back here, it's the Sunshine State. And it's about 86 degrees today in February. It's one of the warmer days. So anyway, getting back to it, Sheryl Crow, Tuesday Night Music Club. If you haven't heard the whole album, give it a shot. Even if a couple of the songs you've heard over and over again, give the album a shot. The notable songs on there for me were definitely No One Said It Would Be Easy. It's just a relationship song, very realistic to me. And We Do What We Can. That to me was a jazzier song. It feels like you're kind of in a jazz club with Cheryl, and you can smell the smoke and smell the alcohol. It's just you're in that environment. As far as I'm concerned with that song, the album that I do have was a record store day release on blue vinyl. I'm driving, so I won't take it out, and it has a gatefold on it, and it's a 2-record set. I'm having a hard time finding any of Sheryl Crow's early stuff on vinyl. That one I just happened to find at Record Store Day. Then you had the self-titled Sheryl Crow album. I haven't seen that on vinyl. The Globe Sessions, Detours. I haven't seen any of that. And I love those first 4 or 5 albums. I love Sheryl Crow. She just started kind of losing me a little bit along the way, where it became, she did a little bit of the country stuff, and it was like modern country, where it didn't feel like it was country like your Willie Nelson country. So she kind of lost me there, but I'm always waiting for the next album to come out and see what she has. So, but I'm always looking for Sheryl Crow on vinyl. You don't find it that often. So anyway, that's my album suggestion of the week. If you haven't given that album a complete try all the way through, definitely do so. The next album I have here that was in the box that my brother-in-law gave me is John B. Sebastian. This is a self-titled album that came out in 1970, and this is considered folk rock, and it's good. He's got a good voice. I like it. John performed at Woodstock, and the photos on the album appear to be from Woodstock, but I don't think they were performed at Woodstock. This is a studio album. He did have quite a few people on here, though. I believe he had like Crosby, he had Stephen Stills, Dallas Taylor, which I believe I know he was with Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young, but you have David Crosby on here also, and Graham Nash is on here. So those guys jumped in and helped along with this album. Interesting thing about John Sebastian is he was also in a band called The Loving Spoonful, and they had quite a few hits, and really good hits. And it kind of reminded me, hey, I need to get a Loving Spoonful, either check them out or get a Greatest Hits, because they did have some really cool songs. Do You Believe in Magic, I liked. Daydream, and Did You Ever Have to Make Up Your Mind, and Summer in the City, which I love. You know, Hot Time, Summer in the City. That's a great song. So I definitely need to check out the Loving Spoonful and get them in my collection, because that's an album I'd like to just pull out and pop on. I like his voice. I think I first became aware of John Sebastian without knowing it, because he wrote the song Welcome Back. That was the theme song for Welcome Back, Kotter, and that was him. So that if you like that voice, that's this guy. So I like this album. It was good. The album itself didn't completely do it for me, but I have a feeling somebody at the record store is going to like this guy. So hopefully it'll be a good something I can get to the record store, get a credit for, and somebody else will enjoy the album. The next album I have here is Carly Simon, Hotcakes, and this came out in 1974. That's old Carly. And what I did notice, and I didn't want to make any assumptions, but I looked it up, and she was pregnant on the album cover of that with her first child. So that's Carly there doing that. That album's considered rock, pop, acoustic, and easy listening. So a basic Carly Simon album. The songs that came off of this, her singles were Mockingbird, which she did with James Taylor, and I think they all she ran in the same circle as James Taylor and Carole King. I think they were all part of that. They kind of worked together back and forth. And her other big hit off there, which you probably recognize, is Haven't Got Time for the Pain. That was, I know that song. It just plays a lot, and I like that song. It's nice. So that was Carly Simon there. Record's in good shape. And it's in the sleeve, original sleeve, so not bad. I'll have to decide if I'm going to keep that one in my collection or not. The next ones were interesting, and definitely never judge a book by its cover. It falls into place with this. There's 4 Rod Stewart albums that were in this collection, and this first one, Atlantic Crossing, this one right here, looks very disco to me. And this came out in 1975. It's considered glam rock or pop rock, so it's more rock. It's still Rod Stewart rocking out with a little glam to it, I guess you could say. But I was expecting a full-out disco album just by that cover. The singles off of the album were Sailing, This Old Heart of Mine, the old Isley Brothers cover, and I Don't Want to Talk About It, which, love that song. That's a nice ballad. And he covers Drift Away by Dobie Gray. I don't really care for his version of it, Rod's. It's okay, but I definitely like the original of that song. But there were 2 songs that I did like off of there. Was It's Not the Spotlight and Still Love You, which was a nice little ballad. But it's definitely a rock and roll album. It's not disco. The next one is called A Night on the Town. It was 1976. It's a rock album. The singles off of it were Tonight's the Night and The Killing of Georgie. Oh, and the first cut is The Deepest is off this. So it's a good album. It's pretty consistent with that. 1976 rock. This one right here, that's him. And I liked it. So those 2, they're in good shape. And the funny thing about this album, A Night on the Town, I always saw this side, and I always thought that was the album cover, because it says A Night on the Town there too. But actually the front is that, I believe. I hope I have it right. Yeah, I believe so, because all the track, well, I don't know, they had the track listings on both sides, so where does it fall? I don't know. I'll have to take a look at that and see what the actual front of the cover is, because it could be either one. I always thought it was the one with Rod standing there with a glass in his hand, but I could be wrong. But it's a good album, good rock album. Definitely be keeping that one. The next one is Footloose and Fancy Free. This came out in 1977. It's another rock album by Rod. It's good consistent rock by him. This one had singles, let's see, You're in My Heart, Hot Legs, which, okay, Hot Legs, and I Was Only Joking, which was a cool song. He does cover a song by the Supremes, You Keep Me Hanging On. I like his version. He rocks it out. So I like both versions. If I had to pick, it'd always be the Supremes. But if you ask me if I like Rod Stewart's version, yeah, absolutely. He did a good job with that cover. He also covers If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right by Luther Ingram, and I like his version of it. And I went back and listened to Luther Ingram, like, I like his lyrics, I like his storytelling. I'm going to have to check out Luther Ingram a little bit more and see what's there. kind of expand my music knowledge, people that I know about but never checked out. So that's what I love about this. It brings up those ideas. The last one here with Rod Stewart was Blondes Have More Fun. It was a good album. 1978, there is rock, and this is more of his disco influence on this one. That cover, you've probably seen that before. And the singles off of that are Do You Think I'm Sexy, which got played big time, Ain't Love a Bitch, which I don't remember that one, and Blondes Have More Fun, and I didn't really care for those songs. Do You Think I'm Sexy? It's catchy. It's like a guilty pleasure song for me. I'll listen to it when it's on. I won't go looking for it, but if it's on, I'll keep it on. And I did like The Best Days of My Life, one of the songs on there. And to me, there was a version of Standing in the Shadows of Love by the Four Tops, and I didn't care for that version of that song. So it's a hit and miss album. I'll listen to it again and decide if it stays in the collection, but the other three I'm definitely going to be holding on to. And the last two I have here are two albums by Cat Stevens. The first one's Is It So, came out in 1977. It's soft pop rock, Blue Eyes Soul. The single off of it were Remember the Days of the Old Schoolyard, which I don't know. It was very heavy in synthesizers and electronic music. I knew that word was going to trip me up. I was hoping just to... and I'm going to keep that in. And they say it was influential in your electronic music. This one right here, that's Is It So. And they're saying it's influential in your rock music, your electronic music, and really paved the way for that 80s synthesizer. So who would have really thought that Cat Stevens would be the guy for that? You know, he was mainly known for his acoustic and kind of folk singing. So how would he be the guy that paved the way? But he did. He played keyboards and he played guitar on that album. So it's a good album. Not one exactly for me. I like the more acoustic version of Cat Stevens, which this other one is. This is a Teaser and a Firecat. Probably seen that album cover before. And that came out in 1971. So it was obviously before Is It So. And that was the traditional folk rock that you know Cat Stevens for. And I enjoyed that album. The singles off of this album are Moon Shadow, Peace Train, and Morning Has Broken. Three great songs, and the songs that weren't released are just as good, and so it makes it a solid album, so that'll be a keeper. This album was in pretty good shape. It had a little tear along the top, but I can just glue that back together. It has the original sleeve, and the album is in pretty good shape. All these albums were kept in pretty good shape, besides the fact, I don't know if you watched the earlier video, that I noticed whoever had this collection didn't like putting the records back in the sleeves. They just threw them back in there, so you'd open up you'd look inside the album, and there'd be the sleeve by itself and the record next to it. So they just must have listened and popped them back in there. But luckily, maybe they didn't listen to their albums that much, which allowed them to stay pretty scratch free. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching again. I will catch you next time. You take care out there, and I'll see you later. Thanks. Goodbye.